One of the bigger obstacles for playing jazz for a lot of people who, like me, grew up playing rock and blues is playing over changes, especially if you're playing a song where the changes are going by lightning speed. When I started playing, I was mainly just looking at tabs and sometimes doing like a root position minor pentatonic, but that's about it. Some might say, well, that's the danger of using tabs, and like fair enough, but sometimes tabs has its uses. We'll get into that in another video. Point is, I didn't have a lot of control over what I was doing. I thought that arpeggios are just this thing that you sweep through and as fast as you possibly can. And scales are best when they're 3 notes per string because it's easier to shred that way. Also, that blues licks are only to be played with the intensity on 10. Everything I just mentioned can be true and is fine, but is a very, very small window into what all of music can be. So if you like what you see here today or get something from today's video, please comment, like, subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and I really appreciate it. So when I first got to music school, I could play a little bit physically, but I just didn't know what I was doing, and there was a lot of information coming at me. All that information coming at me was pretty overwhelming because I was like, wait, is this a scale, or is a mode a scale, or a scale a mode, or which one's both, and when do I apply them, and like, what's going on? So being a diligent student, I would run through my scales, and I would run through the arpeggios, right? And all these kinds of things, but when it would come time to improvise and play over changes, it would sound very sterile, or I wouldn't really be confident about what I was doing. My solos over something like a 6-2-5-1 might be like, not exactly inspired. Or before I even started, I'd go like, wait, so it's Aeolian, then Dorian, then Mixolydian, then Ionian? Like, oh, all right, well, give me a sec. And then realize that they're all the same thing starting on different notes and, whatever. There'd be a lot of overthinking, underthinking, sideways thinking, just, it would get more confusing than it had to be. Thanks to my teachers and also transcribing a bit of my hero, Eric Johnson, I was able to go, oh, so over this like F minor, B flat minor, E flat dominant, A flat major, instead of thinking this mode, then that mode, then this mode, then that mode, or this arpeggio, then that arpeggio, whatever, I could go, oh, minor chord, so minor pentatonic, minor chord, so minor pentatonic, it's a major chord, so major pentatonic, major chord, so major pentatonic. That really helped and was like the first step that I needed. I had like all my bags packed ready to go, my backpack full of different things for the journey, but I just didn't have that first like this trail. I knew minor and major pentatonics. I knew how to switch them. I can just see a shape, right? Just pick a fret and then just, see the shape there. And all of a sudden it was like, then I could add certain notes. I could subtract certain notes, and which would give me an arpeggio. So, F minor pentatonic right here. I could go, oh, the arpeggios in the minor pentatonic. Just honestly not even hitting just one note. I can add a 9, but not get too overwhelmed going, can I know Aeolian all over the fretboard before I even start to solo? Like, no. I can just play minor pentatonic here or here and just solo only in like one area, or I can solo just like find the root, find the root, find the root, find the root, like, and keep it really, really simple and slowly build up. And were my solos gonna sound like this for a while? Yeah. Honestly, probably not even that good. But were things going to start probably on the root, probably on the 1 or the 2, and go up in pitch? Yeah. Over time, I would get more confidence, which is pretty key, right? Like, I can have all this information, but if I don't feel confident enough to use it, I'll always kind of almost stutter. I'll always hesitate. I'll always find something and go, ooh, I don't know if I can play that, and then time will just pass. Building confidence is very important, and building it with what you have, and then building it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until you get people who, are just ready to solo whatever, and you can hit a mistake and go, whatever, and then keep moving. So as an exercise, I would go just from the roots, like very basic, and go up and down the entire, 6-string pentatonic. So that was at a time, but after a while I could put little limits to it, like one measure each. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then going from different directions, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be pretty exhaustive when practicing everything like that, but after a while, soloing would start sounding like this. Or just something that let me know that I was a little bit more familiar with certain minor pentatonic, major pentatonic ideas, and I was still outlining every chord. Maybe not in as much detail as I would later on, but it was enough for me to hear that the chords were changing and I was outlining something. So after a while, I would pick a small melody and repeat it like this. I would think like the root and then the note underneath it, if it's minor or major or whatever, it's just the next one beneath it in the pattern. Something like that, where I can still hear that I'm playing through the changes, except it's just a little bit more melodic and a little bit more, I don't know, specific. That helped me realize I can carry a melody over different chords and everything like that, and not just play like random isolated licks like or something like none of that had anything to do with each other, but something like right? That feels a bit more connected. So again, this is like a first step in the right direction to playing over changes for me. Over time, I was able to add like a 9 or 13 or pay attention to what kind of dominant chord it was. Does it have a sharp 11? Does it have a flat 13, a flat 9, whatever? And add all these different kinds of color to different kinds of chords. It was a long process, that's for sure. And it's honestly a lifelong process. I'll just continue working on it over the years. But having that first step was very, very important so I could even get to where I'm at today. So if you have a rock or blues background and want to get into jazz, or if you're like me and just taught yourself and there might be some pieces missing in your education, something like this, like a plan to improve, is very, very important. And I hope you have a lot of fun with this. Just as a side point, I've heard a lot over the years like, ooh, I want to get some jazz into my playing, by people who openly never listen to jazz. There's really no point to want to adopt a style that you don't really enjoy listening to. If you do love listening to jazz and there's just like, kind of a approach missing as to how to get better at it, again, I hope this helps. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see y'all next week.